all you wonderful Inishowen ladies. Thank you for inviting me to interview one of your powerhouse ladies, as you've been known at this stage. You're forced to be reckoned with up there. So my name is Evelyn McGlynn, company Evelyn McMarketing, PRO for Donegal Women in Business Network. We'll be talking a little bit about that at the end. And today I am joined by Deirdre Bradley. Sorry, forgot to put the phone on silent. Sorry,
You're all right.
Oh, sorry, put it away in there out of the road now. Sorry, today I'm joined by Deirdre Bradley. And Deirdre is, as I say, a powerhouse in the Carndonna and Inishowen region. Born and bred in Carndonna, married to Kevin, 4 children, 1 grandchild, and has an incredible story to tell. And certainly we had a wee chinwag yesterday, and she was definitely somebody that I was kind of marking to get involved in Donegal Women in Business Network. She certainly is a woman that needs to be out there, and the whole county needs to know about her. So,
well.
Deirdre, let's start off by telling us a little bit about who is Deirdre Bradley. What's your story? Tell us a little bit about you.
I think that might be a wee bit blown out of proportion, Evelyn, that kind of an introduction. My name's Deirdre Bradley, and I actually was born in Scotland, but I been living in Carndonna since I was just over 2 years old. I married a Carn man, so no chance of ever leaving now. I married Kevin in 1988, and then we went on then to have 4 children. Emer's the oldest. She's coming 32, and Matthew's 27, Ronan's 24, and Larkin's 20. So now was kind of my time to do something. I've always worked, and I've had a varied range of jobs, from being a manager in a restaurant to working in a blouse factory till working for the Chamber of Commerce in Buncrana and working in childcare. I did a degree in childcare and all, but I love what I do now. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't change it. But that is part of it. You have to have a passion for it when you're doing it. I just love it. I'm in business 6 years here now on my own. I was in business before with a friend of mine, and it just didn't work out. It was a partnership, and it didn't work out, and it was heartbreaking at the time. And I thought I would never recover. But you know what? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And due to the people having a lot of faith in me, more than I had in myself, different people came to me and said, you can do this. You really can do this. I had no money left. I thought, what am I going to do? But anyway, I did a radio interview for RTE1 just before we had closed, and very relevant people, should I say, was listening to the radio interview, and they came to me and said, you know, if you really want this, you have to fight for it. So that was July, and on the 13th of November, I opened Deirdres at the Diamond, and I was super excited, terrified, scared, thinking, oh my God, have I done the right thing? But I most definitely did. The support of friends and family has been phenomenal. And honestly, you couldn't do it unless you had that support. And in fairness, my shop is like another family. And every customer coming through the door is like a friend. Or if they're not a friend, they become a friend. And I think that's what makes it work for me. Now, everybody ticks differently, but to me, and that's what I found very hard in the click and collect section. It was handing out a bag. Like Maureen, and anybody that comes into the shop will know that it's a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a chat, and maybe tears between us or laughing or whatever it may be. And I really missed that. So I think everybody has to find their niche. And I think I found mine 6 years ago when I started off again. It's hard work, and the first 5 years I never took any time off. And then I took sick, and I realized then that I had to kind of take the foot off the pedal a little bit. I do find it hard to find the life home balance and work balance, but I'm lucky the kids are big, so and that helps. But I do find sometimes I become consumed, shop, 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 shop. But I think it's because I love it so much. And people know that, they see that.
Yeah, and I mean, Deirdre, you preempted what I was going to ask you there about the whole work-life balance and about, one of the things Mary McKenna and I spoke about last week was legacy, and it's something that, we're all working towards something, and legacy, some people put that down to being, I want to leave X and I want my bank balance to be Y and I want to be whatever. And, Mary was talking about, and it'd be something very close to myself as well in terms of mentoring, in terms of, being supportive. And, I often say I want my great grandchildren to actually remember one thing that I did, or at least it's still talked about. I'm very vain. But Deirdre, what's your legacy? Is there any one little thing that you would like to think long term that you'll be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered as being like where people can come in and there'll be warmth. And I want the kids, like I have a lot of children that comes into the shop, and at Christmas we would have a Christmas party the day the tree's been lit. I would have a Halloween party for the children, and they would come in and they always get a treat. Right. And some of those children now were babies, and now they're like, because this is my 10th Christmas here, so they've grown up a lot. I would like a legacy of that people would know that I'm honest, and that when they come in, it's so appreciated.
Yeah.
Like I do, it doesn't matter if you're spending €5 or €500. That is as important to me.
It sounds like you're building a great community. And on that note, tell us all about the Traders Association, because that certainly is a blueprint for every town in Donegal and Ireland. So tell us how that came about.
Yeah, it's one of the things I am very, very proud that we were involved in. It started with a conversation in the shop, as everything does. And there was 4 or 5 of us in the shop, and the Dubai Open was coming up. And it was May the 12th, I think we had the chat. And we were saying, would we do something? Would we not? What could we do? We have no money. So I says, well, we call a meeting. So they says, but who'll come? And I says, well, sure, there's 5 of us here, if we all bring 5 people, try and encourage 5 business people to come. So what we did, I rang Wesley Hall, booked the hall, and we booked it for the Thursday. It was the 14th of May, and 35 or 36 people turned up. And it didn't go quite to plan in the beginning, but when we went in, because we didn't know what we were doing, and I just said, look, I don't know what we're going to do, if anything's going to come out of this, but we're here for like a brainstorming session. And I invited John Farn from the golf club to come and speak to us on what he thought would be how we could complement the Dubai Open. So that's how it kind of started. And we had John left. And so I stood up then and spoke, and I says, well, guys, what do you think we should do? And they said, well, we have another meeting and we should do something. We'll do an event of some kind. So then we realized, well, right, you can't run an event with an empty purse. So we all agreed we'd put €100 each business person into the pot. And so, and we would have the next meeting, and everybody would try and bring another 5 people. So we ended up that there was like over 70 people that wanted to get involved. So we said, right, well, everybody put €100 in. We decided we would get lovely red bunting for the town, and we would get signage, welcome to Carndonagh, welcome to Donegal, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started. And then we discovered we needed a bank account and a committee. So that's how I got the title of chairperson. I didn't really want it, but I'm so glad I did, because it's given me so much confidence. We run our first live in the marquee, and it was fantastic. There was such an atmosphere in the town, and the Dubai bus used to stop just beside the marquee, and the music, and the weather was sensational, and people thought that's the way we lived in Carndonagh. So we just pretended that was, we never put them any wiser. And the amount of people who said, oh gosh, you have to do another event. So we done then the Halloween one, which was small, very small. And then we got into the next year and we were put forward, the council put us forward for the Enterprise Award. And we went to Kilkenny last December, 5th of December last year, and we won it. So we got €3,000 and 3 very big heads. And we thought we were magical. We thought we were we could take on the world. So we said, right, what are we going to do? We've got $3,000. We can do anything. So we decided then we were going to be more professional. We're going to open an office. So we approached the landlady, or the girl, Anne Marner, lives down the road, and we got a beautiful office, and we opened a beautiful tourist office and a trader's office. Wow. 3 weeks later, COVID hit.
Okay.
So anyway, we have an office and it's lovely and it's a great asset to the town. So we did, well, no, before that, I missed up a year. We had 2 live in the marquees. We had 2 Halloween, and then last New Year's Eve, we did the extravaganza, and then we opened the office in the February. And then we were put forward again for Enterprise Town, and we won the national award. But it was all to do with the COVID. And so we have a fantastic traders association. We work very, very hard.
What's the long-term plan for that, Deirdre? What do you see as coming from that? And how do you see that almost, like with the last few interviews as well, it's Inishowen is just such a vibrant, I want to move there. It's just so much going on. But with beyond Inishowen, is there a sort of a vision that what you're doing there can sort of encourage others, or almost extend your businesses beyond Inishowen? What's the plan?
Through the Traders Association, you mean? Yeah. Well, the Traders Association is Carndonagh first, Inishowen and Donegal, and we're looking at it as all one.
Okay.
Obviously our businesses in Carndonagh was the starting point, but we would like to see, like we would have liked to have seen, like, got our vouchers up and running, but we didn't. Now there is an Inishowen voucher. We would have loved to have seen that we would all be operating as one and helping each other, because during COVID and during our lockdowns, the Traders Association worked very closely with the Letterkenny Chamber and the Buncrana Chamber of Commerce. And, we shared a lot of information, and instead of everybody scrambling to get the same information, we were all like working together. There was a Donegal WhatsApp group set up. So say Carn Traders was looking for, we were providing, like, we done a Run for Heroes, and we raised 27,000, and we were giving out stuff. So rather than us going looking to see where would be the best price for a sanitizer and all, we shared all that information between the groups. And I think as business people, that's the way forward, that we need to be able to work together as Donegal, not just as Carndonagh or Maville or Kildare or Buncrana or Malin or whatever. And I could see that happening. And I think from the businesses working together as well, as I said before, I'm a sole trader, and a sole trader is a very lonely place to be sometimes. Yeah. But since the Traders Association started up, we have 80 of us now, and it doesn't matter if the likes of Ashley Martin employ 60 people. It's the same, we can share information. And during lockdown, I don't know if it would have been as easy to get through if we didn't have one another. Like, if I was having a bad day, I would go on the WhatsApp group and say, oh God, guys, this is awful. And the next thing, somebody would prop me up. It was like a stick to prop everybody up. And it was brilliant. So I think if we can spread that out business-wise, all the sectors, like, and help promote, not keeping everybody in the one area, send them to Dunree Fort, send them to the Maritime Museum, send them to a restaurant in Maville, send them to, and spread it about. I think that's the answer to success.
And Deirdre, we spoke at length last night about, being a sole trader. And that was one of the things that we were sort of saying, some questions at the end. I'm sure some people will ask, you know, what is the thing about being a sole trader as against, you know, being something else?
Yeah.
What are your top tips on that? And I know you have some other top tips for us as well, but in terms of the sole trader, like you mentioned there, being lonely and about how the group has helped throughout COVID. Like what else are your sort of what's the thinking on being a sole trader?
I like it. I actually love it because the buck stops with me.
Mhm.
So if I make a bad decision, it's my fault. If I make a good one, it's brilliant. But I think the top tips is you need to surround yourself with people you trust and people that actually care about you. Like build up a good relationship with your accountant, with your bank manager, with your suppliers. Like I love all my suppliers. They're all like, and I feel I can trust them when they tell me this is a good number, or this is, and I think you have to open yourself up to that. I think if you're very hidden, I don't think you get those relationships. So that would be my main thing. And the other thing is, I think you really need to surround yourself with people like that, and you need to talk to relevant people. And don't be afraid to say that you don't understand or you don't, if you can't do it, don't pretend you can. I think like when I went to the accountant first, when she was talking about me going into business, I said, but geez, I don't know any of that. I can't do it. She says, no, I'll help you. I'll show you what you need to do. And that's the way that has worked. And the other thing is, I think we're talking about home life and work life. I do think that you need to get that balance right. I don't always get it right, but I think it is a very important tip. And I think you need to have your family on board with you. You need that support, that they know how much this means to you as well. And the other thing I would think is you need to love what you do. You need to really love it, and you need to work hard. You can't just have a business hat on and say, oh, I have a business, but I only work 2 days a week.
Yeah.
You need to know it inside and out. When people come in, they want to see me here. They don't want to see a wee girl at 15 or somebody, I do think you have to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe other people will think different, but I think people,
Well,
you
I
need
mean,
to work hard.
yeah, I mean, it sounds very much, as I say, listening to you and talking to you, you know, that you're at the heart of the community, that you've invested very much in the community, you've invested, and you know that wee 15-year-old that you talk about, you know, you'd be a mentor to her, you're helping
Yes.
support her. One of the things that you also mentioned was, and I think as women, and certainly as women in business, we're guilty of it. It's that you mentioned it last night, and it was like trust and listen to people who have faith in you. How do you answer the question, or how would you advise other women out there who have that inner critic that's telling us we're not good enough, or we can't do it, or you know, that sort of imposter syndrome? You know, you sort of saying, oh my God, they're going to find out I don't know what I'm talking about. You're just like your accountant. What is your top tip there to women in business?
Um, I would say just be yourself.
Yeah.
And, as I say, don't try and walk in a size 7 shoe if you're only a size 5. Um, you know, I think you need to be yourself, and you have to be, people need to believe in you. But the biggest thing of all is you need to believe in yourself, because sometimes we don't. I mean, I left school at 15, and I remember having a teacher, and she told me I'd never amount to anything and I wouldn't be anything. And I should be lucky if I got a good man that would look after me. And it's always stuck with me, and it really upset me. And it took me a long time to get rid of that, because I always went back to LYIT to do my retail management when I was in my early 40s. And it terrified me, absolutely terrified me. Sitting in a classroom setting, I was really frightened. But all those things have made me grow. But the other thing, all the people you meet at different courses you do, different events you go to, people say, Like even my husband said to me, what are you going for that for? So that's only an afternoon with tea. You'll be as well working. But you just don't know when you're going to meet that very person that is going to have some belief in you and open a door for something else. And that has happened to me an awful lot.
Yeah.
And even we were chatting about Jimmy earlier on, Jimmy Stafford. Like Jimmy had invited me up to different things in Letterkenny. And I have so many customers now from Letterkenny and so many friends and different things that I would have been involved in. So every door opens something new.
Absolutely, Deirdre. And I mean, that's something in terms of networking, and certainly all of the ladies that I know that are on here anyway, they're all great networking. And, you know, I think you're so right. And I mean, as regards teachers, I think we all had those teachers. I think everybody was nodding, going, yeah, there was a teacher somewhere. You know, and I think we have a different relationship now in terms with our younger generation. So there's not as many of those teachers around. But you know, the thing about it is, I suppose it's a great testament to what you believe in yourself, and you, as you said, you just got up, went on, did it, and regardless of what somebody had said to you in the past. And I think that's the thing. So just before we finish up, I just want to say thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. We're going to have some questions and answers now. Just to sum up, it sounds like networking is going strong in so many ways with yourself and then Sean, and your traders organization is definitely a great model for other counties and other towns throughout Donegal. And in terms of, you know, you look far too young to be a granny. That's the other thing I would say.
I wish.
You definitely do. So something is definitely working well for you. And I haven't been to your shop yet, but as soon as lockdown, I promise I'll be there.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
So yeah, so thanks very much, Deirdre and Anna. And any questions now, open to the floor. So any burning questions you want to get Deirdre on the spot now to answer? Yes, Karen.
Yeah, I really like I liked it all, Deirdre, so well done. I think be yourself really stood out, and surround yourself with like-minded people. Do you find that changes as you get older, or is it just that you move in a certain direction?
I think we all probably get a little bit more confident as we get older, and everything we achieve and that we're proud of helps us along the way. But I think you hit the nail on the head. You surround yourself by the right people, and you don't shy away from it either. Like if there's something coming up, sometimes I would say, oh God, I don't know whether I really want to, I don't know whether I really want to take on put another iron in the fire. But there's always some wee thing in my head saying, no, do it because it's good for you. And I think it's nice to see people growing and the jobs that they're in. And like we all know somebody that took on a role. Like my life completely changed when I got a job with the Jobs Initiative in the Chamber of Commerce in Buncrana. And I mean, I couldn't even turn on a computer. But when I went to the interview, I said to them, like, I have no computer skills, but I'm willing to learn. But I can talk. And I went to that interview, and it was in the old building, the IDP building where the library is. And
I remember
behind
that
the library.
day.
I was like a rabbit in headlights. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Why am I here? I shouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. And when they offered me the position, and that job changed my life. That job changed my whole life. And it was all about the people I met, because see the bank manager that had faith in me. Me and him did the gate every year at the music festival. I knew him from going into the bank in Buncrana. He knew I was a hard worker. He knew that, and he had faith in me. And if I hadn't have opened myself up to chatting to him and doing different things, I mightn't be sitting here today. So I do think you grow and you surround yourself with people that are, as you say, like-minded, but also people who you can learn from. Like every day is a learning day. I never go home a day that I haven't, gosh, I know how to do that now, or,
But isn't it amazing too, Deirdre, and again, you really hit the nail on the head, as they say there, with that something changed your life. And, it's something that we've come across time and time again. Like if we were interviewing all the women here now today and we said, what one thing changed your life? And the thing is, you got an opportunity and somebody had faith in you. And I think that's pretty much it, because as soon as that happens, the opportunity arises, you accept it or you shy away from it, and you obviously accept it. And then that's where somebody having faith in you, you knew you could do it, but just it's amazing somebody saying you can do this. We have faith in you, and that's, empowers you so much. So, and you in turn then are doing that as well. So that's great. Karen, thanks very much for the question.
One of the things, Evelyn, is, and that's why we discussed this at the very start, was that there's, like Deirdre and Mary and Kate, there's a lot of strong women in a showing, you know what I mean? And it would be great as part of the network to be able to, bring that forward and really show our strength, you know what I mean? Deirdre, to me, I've known Deirdre a long time, like, you know what I mean? And she always, the idea she comes up with, what goes on in her head must be amazing. Do you know what I mean? Some of the things that she carries out are
a lot of crazy stuff too.
But and that saying, do something every day that scares you. I honestly think nothing scares you, Deirdre, to be honest. So well done for all that you do. You know what I mean? Not just for your own business, but for Carndonna and for the show.
I love it. I love being part of the community, and I love Carndonna, and
definitely.
absolutely love it. But when I worked in Buncrana, I loved working at Buncrana, and that's only 2 towns I've ever worked in, by the way. I've only worked in Carn and worked in Buncrana. When I went to Buncrana to work that time for the Chamber of Commerce, I didn't know where Castle Avenue was, or I didn't know because I had never been in it. But I loved it there, and as I say, the paths crossed, and every group I've ever worked with have actually probably made me who I am today. And I just think that's very important, and you always need to remember, I remember the shy girl who would have nearly wet herself if she was asked to stand up in the class, because I would have been terrified, and I never put my hand up, never. But it's
never down now.
Now, like, a big question after question, but as I say, every day is a learning day. And you were talking about women in business. I remember way back when I was in the Carn Development Group, and we did. We must do it again. Actually, I might get Claire to do it. There was more women in business in Carn.
Oh, she froze.
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Deirdre. You froze there.
Sorry, more women in business than there was men.
Okay.
A lot more. I remember doing it at a time, and say there was 160 or 140 businesses. There was about 88 or 89 of them was women in business, or it was a family partnership of a man and wife.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Amazing.
So must get it done again just to see.
And in terms of Donegal Women in Business Network, Anna and I have been talking, and definitely we're hoping to have more interaction. Donegal Women in Business Network are in existence now for 21 years, and we have nearly 200 members, give or take a few. And one of the things we've been talking about for a long time, it's a voluntary not-for-profit. We're all doing our own businesses at the same time. But really, it's getting good ambassadors from the 5 parts of Donegal, split the main part into 4, and then in a show, like these are all in.
We're the biggest part.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so proud of it. It's amazing. It's fabulous, that passion. It really is. No matter what businesswoman I've ever met from any show, and like it's, they're really, and that's it's an embracing, and it's wonderful. But definitely, as regards the network, we welcome everybody, and anybody that's not a member, it's only €50 for the year. And even in terms of great speakers, we've done all sorts of conferences, and as I said to the 2 other ladies, we didn't know you, we would have been up to talk. So find yourself well. So definitely. So any more questions now before we wrap up, or?
No, can I just say, I mean, Deirdre is something else, as you know, and she's a good friend to me over the years. We've been involved in a lot of things together, and she just inspires you, absolutely, no matter how bad things are. She just gets up and gets on with it. So you're very play to you, Deirdre. We really do. We are proud of you.
Well,
Thank
I mean,
you.
Deirdre, I don't know you, and I have to say I'm inspired by you. So, like, I'm sure all the other ladies that know you really well, but I mean, your story's fantastic, and definitely you should be very proud. So, like, again, we spoke last night, about, not going to college and not doing whatever, being stay-at-home mums or whatever it was, raising families, and that's the real story of business. That's the real truth of what makes a business person, whether male or female, and everything else can either be learned or can be somebody else can be hired to do it. So, like, fair play to you. That can't be bought what you have. So,
Yeah.
Deirdre, it was my great pleasure and to interview to you today. And ladies, to all the rest of you, thank you so much. And Mary or Anna, so God, it was Mary. I was thinking Mary McKenna there. Mary and Kate before you, and Anna, thank you so much. And I'm really feeling like an honorary member of
From the show, yeah.
Skillnet. I even get it right now, like I've been running off my tongue.
That's it.
Well, I just want to say thank you very, very, very much for inviting me, and it was lovely talking to you. And it's, as I say, doors always open. Call anytime.
As soon as this lockdown's over, I'll be down for that sparkly dress.
Well,
I'll keep it in here for you.
Good woman. Good woman.
there's so many events going to be happening this year that
Oh, wow.
are in 2021 that we had to hold
I
over,
know.
like, you know what I mean? So
know.
it will be very positive. But that's the thing, and that's what the IDP and the SkillNet and the basis of the SkillNet and all the projects, even like tomorrow we have the ISEN session, and it's about what work is being done. It's for everybody just to say, I want to do that, I want to work with that, I would like to have, you know what I mean? And it's there for us to access and do what we need to do with it to just to make life better, not only for ourselves but for our families, and see, can we get that work-life balance? I definitely am the world's worst on that one. There's that I think that would be the honorary title I'll get. So Mrs. Karen Donagh, thank you very much. Have a good Christmas.
Thanks, Anna.
And I'll talk to you all soon.
Lovely.
Yeah. Have a lovely
Thank you.
Christmas.
You too. Thanks.
Have a lovely Christmas. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Save this chat and